This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to DRTSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a warm welcome to my Guru Tullilu, BV Subba Garu, and another important guest, a software engineer from Bengaluru. She is Annapurna Kamatji. A hearty welcome. May 10th, Karnataka is going to go to polls. And my guru's idea, how is that people ignore basic amenities? Let me say basic amenities now. when we are talking about nature, climate, lakes, they are forgetting basic amenities means water to drink, oxygen to breathe, fresh air to breathe oxygen from it, to take oxygen and breathe so that we survive. And if both of them get polluted, air and water, or I say if the entire land where they are sourced, like lakes, small rivers, rivulets, nalas, if they are encroached, if they are ignored, if you ignore such encroachments, can you get potable water, drinking water? In the same breath, can we have that fresh air? When you go on encroaching, destroying and disturbing the nature in the name of development? As I was traveling to Kerala via Bengaluru last time, when my guru asked me to take the photographs, I took the photographs. They were trying to slowly finish off the river or water bodies. They were dumping. Now, this year, when I passed through that, to my astonishment, huge commercial structures, roads, destroying everything. So, Bengaluru, like Hyderabad, Mumbai, every other city in India, Kochi, is getting inundated, flooding, not roads, even the developments, the houses, offices, alike. Why? Because water and elephant will never forget their way. Come whatever you do, that water will come there and elephant will go through that way only. So this important show, last show, we have exposed 23,000 crores over 12 years spent on a pipeline in Bengaluru, in and around Bengaluru, which has not produced even a drop of water. All political parties involved. Why they don't discuss? Elite people in Bengaluru, software engineers, so many big software industries and big companies, learned people. How come corruption is ignored? How come natural resources like water and air are getting polluted and those bodies are encroached? Still, no Bengalurian speaks, not people from Karnataka speaks, nor this becomes an election agenda even in 2023. That is why DRTSPR channels, with the blessings of my Guru, we are taking up this topic once again with another wonderful guest. Sir, kindly.
Welcome to Dr. Annapurna S. Kamathi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, Dr. Annapurna is a software engineer and she has diversified interests associated with NGOs and involved in many activities. And she strongly believes in the people's participation in natural resources management. Really, it's sad to see Bangalore uh, day by day it is getting deteriorated. The best city in the country, actually, the best city in the country, which had all kinds of civic regulations. When I first time visited in 1970, I paid 1 rupee penalty for crossing the road when the red light was there in 1970. Today, no regulation, nobody bothers about the red lights. That is the situation. But unfortunate things are happening. Madam, I congratulate that the lake groups in Bangalore came out with a lake manifesto for the 20 coming elections. So, how do you see this?
So, working in this field, as a citizen participation model for the 8 years that we have adopted the lake, I have realized that lake are very important community amenities because, like Sir also was mentioning, they contribute to the water table in that community as well as they purify the air if there are enough trees in the lake. So, from these two aspects, where water and air is very important for a livelihood of anybody, so from that angle they become very important, and a leader or a politician who is going to be our leader tomorrow has to realize that it is very important and the community values it. Like a road, it has the same kind of a treatment like we treat roads, we treat other infrastructure. Even lakes, forests or urban landscape have to be preserved, and we have to give equal importance to these natural resources, and they have to become part of a manifesto. And I would say that a lot of these politicians this time are very happy to take up these as manifesto agendas, which is a very nice positive change, I would say, because they also have realized that citizens value them a lot.
Thank you. And the issue is still, you see, most of the government officers and the politicians, they feel that lakes do not have any role in urban scenario, and yet to recognize its natural function, a primary and an effective important function, that the lakes are flood regulating water infrastructures. From Belandur to Vartur, the water flows. Why this is neglected particularly?
So I think in Bangalore, as per my understanding, it has expanded without much of planning. Because suddenly there was this IT, BT kind of development that happened, and lot of people came to Bangalore for jobs, and suddenly we had to accommodate all of them. So infrastructure just like grew without much of planning. So that is where I think, without really understanding how nature works and how these waterways work, construction started coming up. And this was, I'm speaking about a decade back when there was no much realization. Now over a period of time, because these infrastructures are giving way, like flooding is happening in the most elitist apartments, there is lot of confusion everywhere. Like last year rains, I think all the IT industries also were facing the flooding issues, big apartments faced it. And that's when I think people started questioning why this is happening in Bangalore. Till that time, I think people were like, nothing is going to go wrong and we are going to manage with our intelligence and technology. So always we think man is more powerful than nature. I mean, that's what I think we believe till last year when we saw that, oh no, nature also can be more powerful, and when she makes up her mind, none of our intelligence or technology works with that. So I think that is the first point where realization has happened, because today when I converse with people, people are wanting to support lake conservation, even the IT industries. And the only thing you have to tell is, do you remember the flooding that happened last year? And immediately they'll say, yeah, I want to support the lake conservation because we had a hell of a time during that flooding. So I think that realization happened a little late, that developmented versus nature conservation. Most of us thought that we can do without nature, like we could destruct her and still get away and still live a good life, which I think she showed us through the pandemic as well as through the last year of flooding.
The other very important issue is, even we come out with a lot of manifestos,
Hmm.
and NGOs across the country are coming out with several green manifestos before the elections and trying to align with some political parties or the other. But the important issue is, how do we ensure the implementation of this manifesto?
So,
We need to
it,
have some, yeah, we
yeah.
need to have some kind of a mechanism for that, even among the civil groups to monitor it. That's what I feel, Right.
I agree with you, sir, there, because most of the time we think that election is the time to really pour out our needs, but it's actually post
Grievances.
elections, yeah, grievances or whatever is our dreams or whatever to share, so that our leader is going to fulfill it. But I think it's post elections, once you have your leader, is when the role of a citizen begins. You need to start working with your leaders, whether it's an MLA, MP, corporator, whoever it may be. You need to work with them, irrespective of the party, because once the leader is elected, he's your leader, whether you like the party or not, he's your leader. So you need to work with that leader and make sure that they are part of all the things that is important to you as a citizen. So, like in our 8 years of work, we work with our MLA, we work with our corporator. So we make sure that they're involved and we are expressing our feelings with them, so that they can work with us and help us, rather than complaining behind their back. It doesn't serve any purpose. So go meet them and tell them, this is what I'm expecting, and I know you're going to fulfill it because you're my leader, right? So that really helps. And I think that from the day the elections happen and the results are announced, the work starts then. The citizens have to then continuously work with their leader to get what they want for their communities and to enjoy their rights also. This is my feeling, and it has worked wonderfully for us in the past 8 years. In terms of the lake, we've got support from all our political leaders, and we have never had any conflicts, or we never had any issues with the stakeholder partnership. We had one side governance, we had one side our elected representatives, and one side citizens and all other stakeholders who were part of the lake, and all of us have beautifully managed to work as one team. And that lake is what you see today, and it has been identified nationally also as a model lake because of this collaborative effort of all the organizations involved. So but the citizens has to be the nodal point and make sure that he gets what he wants. That is what I would say. So democracy is not only voting, democracy is making sure your leader is again continuing it for the next 4 years till you get to vote again.
Yeah, that's true. What you said is correct. But across the country, particularly, in my own state also, political parties during the elections, they give a lot of promises that we fulfill. These are our heritage and all. But once they come into the power, the distance between the citizen and the elected representatives, it's widening a lot. So that is one aspect that Bangalore, I think,
Yes.
as you said, you are trying to narrow it down. That is good. But at the same time, my experience in Bangalore is your bureaucrats are also not that straightforward and sincere guys. I work with your bureaucrats, BDA and BBMP, and you see they talk a lot, but while coming delivering this goods, again, things are not moving because it is the triangular, healthy triangular working relation between the citizen, bureaucrat, and the elected representative. Because that's what I feel. I don't know your experience. Maybe in your area, all the three are good.
Yes, I mean, I take pride in sharing that our area has a very good combination of all three. So for
Can
Jakur
you mention
Lake,
the area,
everything
madam?
has worked our way.
Can you mention
You know,
the area and the lake also?
this
Can you
is
mention the
Jakur
area
Lake in
constituency?
Bengaluru. Sir. It's a Jakur Lake in Bengaluru. It's in north part of Bengaluru. So here, our MLA and our corporator, everybody has been supportive for the past decade that we've been working with the lake as citizens. They're pro citizens also. They really like citizens coming and working with them, and they are easily accessible to the citizens to discuss and bring thoughts together. So we never had any challenges with the elected representatives. And in the same line, we have been very fortunate to have the best of the officials, because when it comes to a lake, since we still don't have an integrated unit which is taking care of all affairs of the lake, we still work with multiple departments. So we work close to 17 to 18 departments, because every small component belongs to a different department. We have somehow been able to develop a good working relationship with all these departments, where almost all our problem gets resolved or it gets addressed. Time delays, I would say, is something to be kind of accepted, because in a government process there is planning, then budgeting, and then the budget has to be allocated, and then tendering happens, and then the work happens. So between our request and the work being done, there will be a year or sometimes small delays and a year and a half or something like that for the project to get executed. But they do listen to us, they do work with us, they do ask us for our inputs, and we are allowed to monitor and work with the governing agencies. And at least in Bangalore, I would say lakes was the first department to open its door to citizen, and solid waste management was the next one to open its door to citizen participation. And every area has active citizen participation here. And Jakkur is not the only lake. There are multiple lakes here which are working with citizens, bureaucrats, and are having a very a success story to share. Not like too much of grievances, but yes, ups and downs are part of any teamwork. So there will be certain areas where we need to kind of work, push, follow up. But still, I would say we had one of the best experiences in the decade, where I almost tell everybody, if you really want to do it, this is the way to do it. Work with stakeholder partnership, not like I will do something on my own. That doesn't work. We have to sustain the existing system through the elected representative and the governance. That's what I believe in strongly, and our community, that is Jalaposhan, believes strongly. And we have been able to achieve it in a decade. We have the best of the stakeholder partnership model at Jakkur Lake.
Yeah, that's good. Zakur Lake is known, and Vishwanath and others are also involved in the Jakur Lake. And Jakur Lake happens to be in the peri-urban area,
Yes.
not in the concrete urban area. That is one point. Plus point, what
Yes.
I see, because all that experiments Jakur Lake has undergone and all, and also the easy in a peri-urban area, still you have the rural psychological mindset where people come forward to participate. But whereas in areas like Subramanyapura, Belandur, Vartur, bringing out people out for discussions is a tough task, urban area participation. That is the difference I see, that's a demographic differences you have. But nevertheless, the most important thing is how do we take this? Voting percentage is also very less in the urban areas across the country.
Hmm.
So, motivating the urban citizens to go for voting and uh, ask for you know put pressure on the system that what they want to get implemented. So that is another thing.
To say that yes, Jakur is a peri-urban area, but most of the population today is all migrant population. They all belong to
Mm.
IT and other sectors, because we have Manyata Tech Park very close to our place. So I wouldn't say that it is now dominated by villagers or the local lights who used to live here. It's a mix and match of local people, as well as all these migrant, the cosmopolitan crowd, I
Population.
would say. Yeah, so in that way I wouldn't say that it, but yeah, it doesn't represent a pure urban setup like central Bangalore. It has a mix and
Mm.
match, but most of the people who come to the lake are equally the urban people, as well as the village localites who have lived here all their life. So I would say we're working with both. And yeah, I mean, like you said, it is mindset wise, I think not everybody belongs to Bengaluru. So some of them are in transition, they are here on work for a few years and they're moving. So that is again makes this voting difficult, because most of them feel that it is a short term, so they may not be having a connect of Bengaluru as a city. Like you said, in 70s things were happening, because then Bangaloreans lived in Bangalore. Today there are very few Bangaloreans, and most of us belong to some other place, and we call ourselves and we take pride in calling ourselves Bangalorean today. But actually we are not from this geography, like born and brought up here. But yeah, we relate to Bengaluru and we feel we belong here today. But that is the mix and match, which is, I think, causing the voting. Kind of some of the urban literate people don't want to vote at all because they see, they also have lost hope. They're very pessimistic. What change would it make? So that is where we tell them that even your one single vote matters and your one single participation at the lake matters. Like sometimes they're very pessimistic even about the lake. What will one person's contribution do to the lake? We tell them it begins there, and then one day we will have 100, then it becomes 1,000, and that's how it grows. But if none of you want to come, then how would it even initiate? So voting is also like that. I think we have to keep on telling people how one vote can make a difference and how they can get all their grievances addressed if they are part of it, and not sit back and not vote and complain. A person who
You are
doesn't vote
Yeah.
has no right to complain, I would say, because he's not
you
done
are
his fundamental duty. Then why complain?
you are a Kamath.
Yes. Yes.
Kamath is a big family in Karnataka. Kerala, they say Kamath and Kamath. Scene movies also have come. Hospitality industry, hoteliers. I think you are a native of Karnataka, doing wonderful job. But only one part of Bengaluru, wherein we see, as our Guru Garu stated, first time it's a shocker for me because me and my Guru Garu, we were searching wherein can we get a public representative in union with a good official and participatory, enlightened citizens, so that at least the issue gets into prominence. But we could not see, none we could see. But here I think a positive aspect. But how is that it is not relating to entire Bengaluru and Karnataka, and why it is not presenting as a good example to the entire southern India and India? I don't know, that beats my intelligence. Only my Guru has to throw light on that.
And one thing I can tell you, you know, the unfortunately our town planning and the smart city guidelines, they never take the hydrology into the consideration. Because we adopted the town planning from the Britishers uh, way back in 1940s only. And urban planning and urban growth was totally neglected till 1990s. I can vouch for it. If, so suddenly, say mid of 1990s, the growth started.
Mm.
By the time we had a lot of international case studies on such issues, unfortunately, neither government of India nor state governments reviewed them and made some changes, modifications in the town planning. That is the major problem for today's thing. And Jakur, I tell you, this peri-urban case study can be an ideal case study for all the expanding cities in the country. Hello? Hello? You are freezed, madam.
Yeah,
Hello?
madam. Madam, you switch on both your video and audio. It's a valid point which you are making, sir. It's a very valid point. We have seen Hyderabad Urban Development Authority translated into Hyderabad Metro Development Authority doesn't work in sync with Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation, which doesn't again function independently of the so-called legislature or parliamentary politics. And you have seen so many scams now enveloping Hyderabad. Similarly, Bengaluru also we have seen so many of late. Enforcement Directorate trying to unearth the lot of money ahead of
It's
election.
very, yeah. We have you have rightly pointed out, Dr. Shiprasad Garu. It's very important that uh, yes, you are back again. So what I'm saying is, Jakur can be a good case study for the entire country, I can say, because most of the cities and the second level cities are also expanding And this can give a direction to the urban planning, how to go about and how to approach and make modifications and integrate hydrology into the newly developing peri-urban zones.
Hmm. Correct.
I, you should give a serious thought to this and come out with a small booklet of, this Jakur case study, which also highlights the people's participation part of it. Okay, the problems of core urban areas are totally different, and those groups can come out of what can be done and what can't be done.
Hmm.
But whereas your case study can certainly you know give a direction to the newly expanding urban areas. That is my suggestion. Please.
Yes, sir. Because our 1 decade experience with, I told you this very good combination of working with elected representatives and government agencies and stakeholders and the citizens. What we have understood is, we as citizens vision have a vision for our lake, like what we want from our lake, and then the elected representatives help us drive it through a policy, or drive it, or send the message that I'm supporting this cause and I believe in it. And the bureaucrats support to do it, because they only have to execute the projects at the end of the day. And most of our projects have happened like that, where we also had the scientists, the scientific social responsibility aspect, where Mr. Vishwanath and a lot of others like Atri, they are also part of the community. So these are the scientific organization in our community, and they're contributing with their science knowledge. So everything is happening very scientifically at Jakkur Lake. And I'm happy to share that all the government agencies are agreeing to follow those scientific steps. So it's there is always a want to do it the right way, but sometimes there are these gaps which I think the citizen can fill in and connect the elected representative to the governance and the science behind it, and all this can come together to make the best possible conservation effort. So I would say citizen participation is the important thing to happen. And already we've started our documentation process with BBMP, kind of supporting it to make sure that everything from the beginning of Jakur Lake before restoration till now, including citizen participation, the scientific social responsibility, various connects, how to work on a very integrated system, is being documented in various modes. We're doing podcasts, videos, everything, so that we said if we can do this and put it in public domain, a lot of others can use and they don't have to reinvent the wheel. But like you said, everybody will have to tweak and make small changes to accommodate their lake, because every lake is unique. We cannot have one model working across lakes. So they will have to take what works for them, and they have to do a little research and tweak what doesn't work for them to make it work for them. So this little bit of customization will be required. Yet the knowledge that we have collected from various experts will be available on public domain for everybody to use, so that more lakes will be conserved and more community initiatives can be kick-started, not only in Bangalore, I would say, across this country. And that's what we are hoping, that every last lake that we can save, if we can do it now, the next generation is safe, and we would have left back a legacy for our children.
Yeah. It's my humble suggestion is, see, this experiment in the peri-urban areas, you should think of coming out with a manual
Hmm.
restoration in
Hmm.
the upcoming urban zones. Okay?
Hmm.
As you rightly pointed out, you see, we can come out with certain thumb rules
Hmm.
because each lake has its own, character.
Hmm.
But now, nevertheless, it needs
Hmm.
customization. Okay? But coming out with a manual can take you this experiment to urban planning levels.
Hmm.
Because unless and until we influence the urban planners,
Hmm.
tomorrow, we see what happened in Hyderabad, I tell you. Peri-urban areas were very good and we were happy. And today I am struggling. I'm struggling, I'm fighting. I have gone to the NGT in a peri-urban area.
Hmm.
Suddenly they gave a permission to construct 30-storied buildings.
Hmm.
100 feet from the lake.
Hmm.
So we need to, our efforts
Hmm.
are not for a temporary gain, what I see.
Hmm.
We need to come out with a manual
Hmm.
and push it in the urban planning. That one aspect. And let we can share, we can discuss across.
Hmm.
And another thing what I feel is Bangalore historically set a milestone on water management.
Hmm.
The chain link tanks.
Hmm.
Okay? It's a legacy from Cholas, Krishnadevaraya, whatever it is. We are not talking of our heritage. We are not looking these lakes as our heritage. We are just looking these water bodies as our some recreational hubs or some some kind in a different places. I argued and I suggested to several groups in Bangalore, Madras, and in Hyderabad that these are our heritage, part of our heritage.
Hmm.
And it's our moral responsibility collectively
Hmm.
to preserve, restore these heritage and pass on to the next generation.
Hmm.
We do not have even in our primary, secondary, and higher school education about our lakes.
Correct.
That's an unfortunate thing.
Hmm.
The other experiment, I would, other experiment which impressed me is the Putanahalli Lake, Usha Rajagopal. That was so. These are my observations and what I am trying to connect the lake warriors, I say, in the South India and across country also.
Hmm.
Recently with Jammu and Kashmir also, I am trying
Hmm.
to bring them. So this is my idea, madam. Nothing else. So we need to go, and I once again congratulate you that you people could come out with a good lake manifesto, and I wish you continue this spirit, ensuring its implementation. So we would
Sure,
like to hear more from you.
yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. And surely we will work on both your inputs. So documentation is already in progress, so we will surely get back to you for some kind of guidance. And like you said, for the schools, we already started a lot of programs to integrate education with the lake. So we call it Nature's Gurukul, and from kindergarten to universities, we provide opportunity for students to connect because we also felt there is a disconnect between academia and what is happening, the community initiatives. So this is also kick started, so we are trying our best to bring all generations into this and make sure that everybody feels the need to conserve lake and then demands them as a right.
Yeah,
It's
one small tape, experiment which was initiated way back in 1992. So, in lake education.
Hmm, hmm,
So, I used to take the students to the lake and
hmm,
give a statement that my lake has history, geography, chemistry, zoology, mathematics,
hmm,
and each student, should select one subject,
hmm,
either agree or disagree.
hmm.
So
Nice.
integrating entire primary education through the lake, who constructed? What is
Hmm,
the dimensions?
hmm. Correct.
Okay, what is the aquatic forms you see? So you have zoology, you have botany, you have history. So creating more innovativeness
Hmm,
and inclusiveness,
hmm.
particularly in the education system, that is one aspect I would like to share at this. take this, discussions opportunity. You can also think of this.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you,
Dr.
sir.
Shiv
Thank you.
Prasad.
Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful to host. As usual, my guru always tries to enlightens me on in every show, everything to learn from such great personalities who always cared nature in symbiosis with nature. That rich biodiversity, all the subjects will fall in place. And one from Kamat's family again in Bengaluru, reuniting the two takes from that Zakur Lake or whatever the lake conservation programs which they are doing is the integration of the elected representative with the officials, stakeholders, and all the citizens concerned and moving ahead. And the best part is nature's Gurukul, integrating the entire society. Here it starts with our school education, from kindergarten to the PG level, making them to understand the necessity and importance of having lakes survive or conserve lake culture, because it's just body contains 90% of water, the same water which flows outside. How is that we are not trying to save and conserve it? I would say preserve it, because we are not the last ones on this mother earth. Be selfish. What is that you are going to preserve and pass it on to your own kith and kin in the next generation? Concrete jungles, difficult to breathe, how people have ran for cover, though insensitively scared into submission, stating there is no oxygen in the air. At least that you try to remember, so that you will become responsible, as article 51G says, responsible citizenry, because you are the constitution. You have submitted constitution to yourselves, right from prime minister, chief minister. They're all public servants. Then why you fear? You should state that these things have to be preserved, come whatever may. Let the growth happen, but how? Taking care of all these nature's water bodies like lakes, because we are just limiting ourselves to lakes. Otherwise, what has happened to Bangalore last year, what is happening now to Bengaluru, every time what it happens to Kerala and Mumbai, do not forget. So this is the best way we can preserve, conserve, so that not just present, our future will be much brighter, and our kith and kin can live in a harmonious way, or leading harmoniously of life in symbiosis with nature and that rich biodiversity, which is most or quintessential for your own survival in the form of water and clean air and a very good atmosphere. And before I say bye, I'll just try to show one video, because only one part of Bengaluru, North Bengaluru, is enlightened, and the other part of Bengaluru is still to. Likewise, the entire Karnataka, it is going for elections. Every citizen, whoever, whichever party or whichever candidate approaches their house or them, they should say, "These are my water bodies in this area. Can you protect them? Can you conserve them? Or else if they are encroached, see that you remove those encroachments. And again, can you bring back such type of my lake culture? Only then I will vote vote you." And that, even if they want, they can take bond, because politicians are forgetting everything. So we need not politicians who should be and whom we should be voting. We need leaders who think and visualize beyond their petty politics or elections. So for that reason, I'm trying to play this video with your permission to say bye, for not just for Karnataka elections, for all the by-elections and for the future elections to come, enlightening citizens of their wonderful rights to lead a symbiosis life with nature, in nature. I'm just sharing this video, sir. Don't go away, madam. Just enjoy this video.
Don't ever believe that a politician is a leader. Don't ever believe that. Because the system that we have produces politicians. It doesn't produce leaders. And so you can have a politician who knows nothing about leadership and he's leading you. Politicians are concerned about the next election. That's all they're interested in. That's why they cannot be leaders. But leaders are different. Leaders are concerned about the next generation. I want you to compare those two thoughts the next time you have a politician come to your house wanting to vie for your vote. Just ask him, what is your vision for my children? I will sit and listen for 20 minutes for you to tell me what it is. He will leave your house because he has no interest in your children's children. His concern is to stay in power, to keep the position, to win the next election. This is why they cannot lead. When you are going to have a conversation with a politician, you should actually try this as a test. You, by the way, as a citizen of a community, you have a right to be seen by the mayor. Hope you know that. If you voted for a mayor, the mayor works for you. Therefore, you have a right to see him. You can make an appointment to see any public officer you voted for. Did you know that? That's your legal right. If he don't want to see you, you can take him to court. That's democracy. So I want you to make an appointment to go and see your mayor or go and see your governor and just sit and say, I want 30 minutes with you, sir. And ask him about that list right there. Sir, what is your purpose for being in leadership in this city? What is your purpose? The first question will make him very nervous. Second question, what is your passion for our community? He'll be wondering what you're talking about. What are you talking about? I just want to build roads and bridges and provide jobs. No. What is your passion? And this is why we need to question the leaders we have. And so I have a little thought here. I call it politics versus leadership. Let's talk about it for a second. Number one, politicians focus on programs, not vision. Number two, politicians' priority is securing the next election, not securing the next generation. Their focus is different. Number three, politicians are preoccupied with promises, not purpose. What we need is statesmen, stateswomen. We don't need more politicians. A statesman is an interesting human. A statesman think of the next generation.
So wonderful to host you again. This is a great opportunity wherein I was just trying to, yeah. So this is what I just wanted to share before I say bye. Are you able to?
You are not
What?
visible.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to end with: a visionary, not a politician, a statesman who can lead you to a comfortable life along with your natural resources. And DRTSPR channels, citizen DRTSPR channels, and environment people DRTSPR channels have been leading with wonderful guests like my guru Subba Garu and Professor Purushottam Reddy Garu, and wonderful guests like Annapurna Kamath, another big family from Karnataka who is a software engineer and trying to conserve the lakes. Wonderful to host you all, and I hope this message is loudly and clearly taken to every household in Karnataka to understand that they would vote for a leader with a visionary so that their present and future is safe and secure. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night. Take care. Bye, sir.